Boom, baby. All right, guys. We are at war with the Jews today. What do I mean when I say we are at wars with the Jews? A Jew is a definition of somebody in the Bible, the Old Testament way of thinking. The Jewish people do not believe in the New Testament. They do not believe in Christ, and they believe in the Old Testament. What does the Old Testament say? The Old Testament says, eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth, throw them in jail for 20 years, have no forgiveness, pay for your sins no matter what. What does Jesus say? Love all, forgive all, and we can become better people. Okay? So, the best way I know how to attack the Jews in this very moment is going back in time to when I mastered life insurance and I gave it to the world. I shared it with the world. A lot of people are making hundreds of millions of dollars off of it to this every single year for the last at least 2 years. And there's thousands and thousands and thousands of clients signing up every single day. And these are not rich people. These are people putting away $500, $1,000 a month. And I want them to have the information of what they have bought, what the product really is, and why, in my opinion, the reason I never sold it is because I always thought it was trash. And if they were going to do it right, they have to rebuild the product, which takes 1 second, and literally just cut out 90% of the bullcrap. Because it's all bullcrap inside of life insurance, and it's all designed to tell a story, even though really, like the story they tell of the benefits they're giving you is actually the money that they're stealing from you. And so, it's funny, if you go to SunCor Financial, all they talk about is the power of compound interest. All he talks about is the power of compound interest. Oh, that's SunCor Energy, not SunCor Financial. So all they do is talk about compounding interest. Let's see. My brother's not on there. I thought my brother would be on there. And it's about protecting, growing, and accelerating, okay? And so you'll see in a lot of his videos and a lot of his stuff, he likes to talk about Vanguard and how Vanguard has the lowest expense ratios. And basically, he'll try, when I say he, I'm talking about Curtis. He goes live probably twice, 3, 4 times a week to sell people life insurance on TikTok and bullcrap. But basically, what he does is he takes the best sales pitches from everybody. So basically, in the 401k, like the average expense ratio is 2%. And so if you add up the fees of a 2% expense ratio over a 60-year plan, like it's freaking disgusting. Like it's the greatest compounding fee you've ever seen. And so people like Vanguard offer you to be able to invest in like funds like the S&P 500 and have an expense ratio of 0.03%. Not 1,000th of a percent, but 0.003 of a percent, right? Well, guess what? Basically, in the math that I'm going to prove to you, I'm going to show you how he is doing. He's saying Vanguard's great for all this, and he's saying I can produce more ROI like Vanguard says they can do in the SPY. But what he's not telling you is just because he's producing more ROI, he's still charging fees like everybody else. He's still got the 3% maintenance ratio. And so I'm going to go over the math of exactly how the fees work, and if you want to improve your product and you want to make it better. And basically, it's what's really funny about his whole platform and program is I discovered all of this 7 years ago. Like, he knew nothing about life insurance. I went and got a job for life insurance. I got my license in a week, and I just studied for 6 months, and then I started to push the information on him. 4 years later, he starts having success selling it. Starts working with Mutual of Omaha, all this other stuff. Now he's at a point where Mutual of Omaha has signed a document saying if you sue Curtis, you're suing Mutual of Omaha. You're not suing Curtis. You can't sue SunCor Financial because Mutual of Omaha has accepted their liability. Okay? So you can try to file the lawsuit, but you're not going to hurt my brother. You're going to hurt Mutual of Omaha. And so I want to show you how you can start a class action lawsuit against SunCor Financial, against Mutual of Omaha. What are they hiding from you? Are they actually qualified to be selling you a new product that they don't even understand? Like, I got a 25-minute video of my brother Curtis saying all this stupid shit in his YouTube live streams that I know I could turn into the insurance department and file a complaint, but my family convinced me not to. So you know what I'm going to do? Because I thought about suing my brother 100 times. I thought about doing all this stuff to try to hurt my brother. I am not going to, like, none of this is going to benefit me. But what is it going to do? This is going to allow the truth to be heard. Everyone understand that I have the truth. And then it will show you how to protect your own interest. Anyone that has MPI, anyone that's in a life insurance, anyone that's in index universal life, whole life, anything, your bonds are going to zero. Inflation is coming. It will be as if, even if they hold their cash value, the dollar is losing so much value, it will be as if you lost 99% of your money. So if you are in life insurance right now, unless it's a variable universal life and you pick the stocks that you know are going to be the special ones to go up when everything else tanks, because that's what's about to happen. There's only a handful of stocks that have been diamond handed from 2 years or longer, and those stocks are the only ones that will pay. In my opinion, there's only actually two, Tesla and AMC. Anything else, probably a bust. Amazon pays the most in options. And so if you want to secure yourself a little with Amazon, I wouldn't blame you. But, man, those three are the only diamond handing movements. Those are the only things where people from retail bought the stock and said, we will never sell. Because some people think Elon Musk is the smartest man on earth and thinks he's going to run the world. But little do they know, it's me, and I'm going to run this world. And so you bet on Tesla if you think Elon Musk is the man. You bet on AMC if you think I'm the man. You bet on both if you just don't know. So, first thing we want to talk about. Let's see here. All right, so protect. What does he mean by protect? Protect, what he means is protect your money by putting your money in a bond, okay? So let's do some basic math here. How does, I can't lose those. Oh no, I saved it, it's okay. Okay, so how does how does an IUL work? Indexed Universal Life. All right, so first off, depending on your age, depending on your health, and depending on how much you want to invest every single year, depends on how much you want to invest every year, depends on how much life insurance you end up getting. So basically, we're going to do the standard of IULs, which should be a mega lawsuit. Then we will do an optimized IUL that just regular agents are selling today if they're a good agent. Then we will show the math of MPI. Then we will show what the math of MPI should have been and what I have been preaching for 7 years, that Curtis and MOH, Mutual of Omaha, ignore constantly because they care more about their money than yours. That is why you should not buy from SunCor Financial, because he cares more about his money in his pocket than he cares about your money. I promise. I know him. I talk to him every day. Curtis does not like poor people. He does not like poor people. I lived with poor people my whole life, rich or poor. When I take my company and all the poor fucks with me to go sell, I rent one house and I get my own bedroom, but we share the fucking house with 12 guys. Curtis would never do that. Oh, come on, people. I mean, he would do it to prove that he would do it, but only if he had to prove something to somebody. Holy moly, holy moly. So, let's keep going. Let's start to get into the math. So, standard IUL. Here's how it's being sold today. You can do you can do increasing death benefit, which lowers the cost of life insurance, and as you put cash into it, your life insurance grows, which increases the cost of life insurance. So you start out with really cheap life insurance, and then as it grows, it starts to get more expensive. But the nice thing is that because the plan that we have at the end of all of this puts all the best things together, when you put all the best things together, the increase of death benefit is so minuscule to the amount of profits that you are making every year that you don't really care. And so, again, guys, I am not telling you to buy life insurance. I'm not telling you to buy an IUL. Even if SunCor Financial came out with the perfect IUL, in today's world, it is still trash. Inflation is coming. Gas is going up. Nothing has been seen of price increases yet, except for maybe wood and lumber and building supplies. But outside of that, nothing's been affected yet. Our food still needs to go up. Our gas still needs to go up. Our water and electricity and housing and rent, like they've gone up a little bit, but they all still are going to go up 2, 3, 4, 5x what they are right now. Okay? And so you making 20% every single year no longer does the job. You got to understand that. You making 20% ROI a year will guarantee you have no money in the next 5 years. Will guarantee you have $0 in 5 years, even if you got $5 million right now today. If you got $5 million in the bank right now today, in 5 years, you will have nothing if you do not find a way to grow that money exponentially quick. And I'm not talking about no 20% a year. That's some bullshit math. That's some bullshit. That's some Jew logic of I'm going to slave away for 30 years so I can have the last 20 years of my life to die miserable with a little bit of money. Fuck no. I will never bow to the Jews that demand that from me. They always say you can be whatever you want in this world unless it's something that scares them, unless it's something they don't approve. They never tell you the truth until after you break their rules that are unwritten rules. Do you guys know that Elon Musk, although he's not Jewish like faithfully, he went to a Jewish school. He came from South Africa where supposedly Judaism was very hot and popular. Like the mother effer logically thinking in the world, the way he sees the world, the way he sees dumb, poor people, Elon Musk says the Jews must control these people so that they can have a resemblance of happiness. Because if we weren't here to control everything and make sure everyone was doing what they're supposed to, then everything would go to crap and no one would be happy. It's a lie. It's a lie. As soon as we start to recognize that we are unlimited in potential, and as long as we give our glory to God and we love everybody around us, we do not need a government. And I will solve the police problems, the fireman problems, all the bullshit you guys come up with and are scared of. There are simple solutions for all of it. And the Jews just keep watering and muddying the story so nobody knows what's what and everybody's divided until one day they create this Moass and it's a new world currency and there's only one currency and it's the government's currency and now everybody has to bow to them. If you don't want that future, the only thing you can do to help us, to help the people that love God, is to buy AMC movie theater stock. It is the only stock in the whole world that retail owns outright. They tried to dilute the shares by 500 million shares. There's only 500 million shares. They asked for 500 million shares at a penny a piece 2 months ago. We said no. They cannot add more shares to AMC to hurt your price without our vote. And we said no. So what does that mean? All that means is that after a period of time, whether it's today, tomorrow, a week, or a bloody month, we have been in a battle for 4 months and been watching Wanda sell 30 million shares. Watch them dilute the 43 million shares they already had at a penny a piece. And we've been watching executives sell every single week for the last 4 weeks. And basically, what it's proving is that every time people bet a lot on the options because they think it's about to explode, these people sell out to keep it down for another week. So those people betting the options lose their money. But what happens? Retail's gone from 70% ownership to 80% ownership to 90% ownership. And we're probably at like 95% ownership right now. And there's probably about 5% of the shares left for them to keep the stock price down. And as soon as those 5 are bought up, what happens on a stock is that the market order book has buying and selling And when there's only people that want to buy and there's nobody that wants to sell, the price will keep going up until people start selling more than what people are trying to buy. So as long as we hold, we could send the stock all the way to infinity until everything else hits zero. And then we have the keys to the kingdom instead of the government. And so AMC is the way. I believe that we're going to get to 2,000 on AMC, no problem. And from there, that whole idea of holding the stock till it goes to infinity is going to be on a different stock with me and my people. If you continue to watch my channel, you will get an opportunity to jump into that one as well. Probably like a one-day opportunity. I imagine that when we throw our money in and then I come into YouTube and I say, hey guys, I threw all my money right here, check it out. I imagine by the end of the day, it's already up 100%. So it's probably a little bit too late after that. I mean, not too late because it's only going to infinity, but like, get in when I say I got in and you'll be good. All right, guys. So there's increasing death benefit and then there's level death benefit. So standard IUL. If you guys know, look up the YouTube channel called Patrick Bet David. Okay, Patrick Bet David started a company called PHP. It stands for People Helping People. All his company does is sell the IUL. Like, he's one of the companies I first got involved with when I was 23 years old. And basically, Patrick Bet David has always pushed the IUL, but 2 weeks ago he's got a YouTube podcast now that gets like 50,000 views a video. And basically his advice this time is gas is going up to minimum $10 average across the country, and that you guys need to find a way to make real ROI because 10% ain't going to cut it no more. So if the guy that's pushing the IUL that's like the guaranteed 7% says you guys need to find a way to make real money because gas is going up 3x, he ain't talking about no IUL and he ain't talking about no bullshit MPI neither. I promise. So this is the one, if anyone has ever bought an IUL, you guys should try to get lawyers together, try to start a class action lawsuit. I promise you, you'll win. I promise you, if you guys come together, you will win this lawsuit against the life insurance companies. Basically, the way that it works is that a level death benefit, you get more life insurance for the same amount that you're paying annually. So they get more commission because their commission's based off life insurance while you get less cash value. So basically, to understand a life insurance policy, you got to understand that there is a MEC. What this is, the most you can invest in dollars per year based off insurance amount and age. So let's just say I'm 30 years old and I have $250,000 of life insurance. And let's say that the MEC says I can invest $10,000 a year. Okay? Well, if this is a level death benefit, basically my commission on this is going to be $10,000. So after you put in your first $10,000 for the first year, your account balance will be $0. Every year after that, the only thing you're paying for is the life insurance. So basically, let's say $8,000 of this is going to be commission. Then $2,000, let's say life insurance and fees. Fees from the life insurance company. Okay? So basically on year 2, if I invest another $10,000, I now have 0 in commission. I now have $8,000 in cash value because although I don't pay the $10,000 or the $8,000 in commission, I still got to pay the $2,000 in life insurance. So now every time I put in my $10,000, I'm going to be getting the interest off the trading platform. So the bond interest plus the option ROI. but I still got to pay for my life insurance and all my other stuff. And basically what they're going to do is they're going to have a fake value right here of everything you invested. And so they're going to say you have $20,000 invested, but you only have $10,000 or $8,000 of cash value. And what this actually means, so what you got to understand about the IUL is the way that it works is the first 10 years, the reason why everyone buys this product is because the IUL does not show that it's being taken out all at the same time. Okay, the IUL shows that they get paid their commission over the course of a 10-year to 15-year period that they call a surrender charge. But in reality, your surrender charge is paid up in full the first year, and if you cancel, they still got their money and they're keeping their money. And so they still get their commissions, the insurance company still gets to keep your money, like nobody's got to pay anything back, and you just lost whatever you put in. That's the 99, I would say 90% of policies ever written get canceled within the first 5 years, probably first 2 years. And everybody just pays the commission to these people, and then they cancel because they forgot why they bought it. Or life got hard. Who knows why. So this is bad enough as it is. Showing that they take your first full year of payment is super horrible. But how does it get worse? It gets much worse. The sales pitch of PHP was this. Hey, Mr. So-and-so. So first off, we're going to sell you a level death benefit because we're here for life insurance. We're life insurance fiduciaries. We are not investment fiduciaries. Even though I want you to take all your money and stop investing in the 401k, stop investing in your IRA, stop investing in your Roth, and I want you to put the majority of your money into this IUL, I am just a life insurance fiduciary. I am not an investment fiduciary. Literally, they will say this all the time. Word for word, everything I just said, they will repeat back to you and with a straight fucking face. Can you believe that? And so what they'll do is they'll be like, look, you're young. You just got into this career. Looks like life is going great for you. It looks like you got a bright future. Instead of me coming back and building a plan as your life progresses, let's just go ahead and assume that you're going to crush life. And instead of setting this up for $10,000 a year, let's set it up for $30,000 a year. And you know what happens? These motherfuckers pay for 3 years, and all 3 years, the motherfucker's getting $8,000 in commission. Because the surrender charge, and they don't get cash value until year 4. So the first $30,000 would go to commission and the life insurance company. Year 4, they start building their cash value. And all of it gets lied about in the surrender charge of a 15-year cost. And it's all bullshit. You pay it first. You pay the cost, then you start saving your money. And so PHP, anyone that sells the IUL, 99.9% chance they are a total scumbag. My brother was the first one that tried to do it right because I showed the better way, but then he just perverted that and done basically what anyone else would have done. And that's why I am here to set you guys free, show you the truth, and destroy Mutual of Omaha. Those are my goals, people. I hope you're having fun so far. I hope you're learning so far. What up, Marston? What up, David? Amaral in the house. So, where are we going to next? Next. Now we've seen the level death benefit. We've seen how they can use a sales pitch to triple their commissions over a couple more years, just because you can still only put in $10,000 a year, but the commission. Actually, no, if you put it up to $30,000 a year, you can put in $30,000 a year. So if they convince you to put in the $30,000 and then cut back to $10,000 every single year until you start making enough to put in the $30,000, then basically they get all that commission year 1. Oof. And that's exactly how they try to do it. They say lump sum with your monthlies, and then we'll just start you on the monthlies, and it totally crushes your plan. Like, it destroys your financial plan. And so that is level death benefit. Now let's go to increasing death benefit. And every word I've said so far, SunCor Financial teaches the exact same thing. So, like, SunCor Financial is the only life insurance company out there I know of that will only sell increasing death benefits. And basically what happens in an increasing death benefit is, let's say I'm investing $10,000 a year. Let's say 30 years old and $100,000 in life insurance. Because remember, level death benefit, you get more life insurance. Increasing death benefit, you start out with less, but because the commission is based off of the starting life insurance, then you want to start with that number to make sure, like you want to start with the lowest life insurance to make sure you're paying the least amount of commissions. And basically when you do this, what ends up happening is by the end of the first year, and so I probably underestimated this level death benefit. I think if you max it out, your first 2 years is when you get like cash value. Because I remember like increasing is where I put all my focus and energy on because I saw how bad level death benefit was. But I do remember increasing after commissions, life insurance fees and everything. If you put in $10,000 max funded at the MEC, so if this was the MEC and we invested the $10,000, then we should have about $2,000 to, we'll say $2,500 in cash value at the end of the year. Probably $3,500 went to the sales agent and $3,500 went to, or we'll say $4,000 went to the insurance company. And obviously the insurance company does have fees and expenses when building a life insurance policy, so you can't count all the insurance company money as profit. But the life insurance agent, this is just bullshit profit. It's all bullshit profit. And so basically, when you're selling IULs, depending on your commission rate, you can expect anywhere from 25 to 40% of what the annual payment is on an increasing plan. And what happens in this situation is, so now instead of getting $10,000 in commission, I'm only getting $3,500 in commission. Instead of jacking this up and making it where I'm getting $30,000 in commission over 3 years, again, I'm only getting the $3,500 in commission. And so increasing becomes way better. If you compare the absolute best, like the best I can sell a level death benefit versus the best I can sell an increasing death benefit to the same person, the increasing death benefit projects about a 50% increase in retirement income. Based off the same numbers, based off the same performance of the S&P 500 year after year, the increasing will pay about 50% more retirement income per year than the level death benefit. So don't ever buy a level death benefit. Don't ever buy any life insurance at this point. Just buy AMC. It's the only thing that's safe for you. But if you were going to do this, it has to be increasing. It has to be an IUL because every other life insurance costs more than it makes, and it takes 20 years to break even. We are here to make money. We are not. If you want life insurance, go buy 30-year term or go buy like a super, what do they call it? You can buy a permanent life insurance that does not cost a lot of money, but find out how much you need. And it's like, if you start paying now, it's going to be very, very, very cheap. And you don't want to cash value life insurance is what I'm getting at though. So what is MPI? MPI is the best case scenario of the increasing with the MEC, with all the commissions and the fees and everything, putting it all together to make a product that starts to take a risk so you get more growth. And historically, based off the look backs of the last 100 years, like MPI crushes buying S&P 500 and holding. Because they're both indexing the S&P 500, just the MPI does it a little bit differently. So I'm going to show you how like people typically index the S&P 500, and then I'm going to show you how we index the S&P 500. So basically, typical like Vanguard S&P 500. What they will do is they will, as you invest into your account, if you just have it going to auto index the S&P 500, then basically they're buying the dips, they're buying the increases. They just, anytime your money comes from your 401k, they send it straight to the S&P 500, and every month you're buying more, and you're either averaging down, averaging up. It does not matter, because if you look historically, as long as you're always buying, you will make money in the stock market, because once it drops, like all that money that you buy when it drops, makes mad profits once it comes back and the rest of your money breaks even. So the idea is to always be buying. That's what Vanguard says. Like, as you're working and saving for retirement, always keep buying regardless where the price is at. Like, they don't recommend buying out and trying to time the market. And basically they charge 0.03% expense ratio. What does that mean? That means if I have $1 million by the end of the year, I owe Vanguard And that's my total account. Not that I made $1 million, but I have $1 million. I owe Vanguard $300 for investing in the S&P 500. Okay? $300 for $1 million invested in the S&P 500. And they're not charging me anything because they don't got to do nothing. All they do is buy S&P 500 stock and they hold. Like, why the fuck would they charge you money? They want your money. So they'll charge you less than everybody else. Well, let's go look at what MPI is all about. So MPI does this. Basically, MPI is the biggest freaking scam in the world because it's set up under the Index Universal Plan, which you do not need a license to sell. So because they can tell you that there's no risk behind the IUL, anyone's allowed to sell it, even though they're all mentally handicapped. But because of the way that it actually works, if you wanted to maximize it and make it the best thing it could be tomorrow, any decent human being would just create a variable universal life and understand that there is a little bit of risk with MPI. But as we show the math, we prove that it crushes this bullshit over here and we can lower the commissions. But right now he's got the commissions jacked to the roof. He's got everything jacked to the roof. And basically he thinks he's going to make $1 billion. He thinks Mutual of Omaha is going to make $1 billion with them. And then he thinks his clients are going to make $1 billion. But what's really going to happen if the IUL stays in existence, if I'm wrong about inflation, if I'm wrong about AMC and Tesla destroying everything else, including the bonds, then what? Then what? Somebody's going to come in, see exactly what this rtard is doing, do it right in 1 second, and take every client he ever had because he's stealing from you. He doesn't think he's stealing from you because he thinks he's bringing value. But what I know is he's doing the same thing Vanguard's doing. Why is Vanguard charging $300 and my brother's charging $250,000? If you invest $1 million with my brother, he will take $250,000 from you. Like that. But Vanguard will take $300 and Vanguard will get you 10%. My brother will get you 13%. Which one do you want? If we do the math, you'll find out. Oh, man, I might do that for another video, though. I'm just having fun right now. Oh, man. And so let me show you real quick. What is the MPI? How does it work? So if I have $10,000 cash value, there is no surrender charges. We're just going to break this down to its simplest idea. So assume I've paid for my life insurance costs, everything else. I have $10,000 cash value left over. The way the IUL typically works is that they're going to put 95% of this into a bond. They're going to put the rest of this into an option. This is going to make 5%. This is going to make 0 to 12%. So the way the IUL illustrates on a software is that you choose a percent you think it's going to do. And so basically if you look at the historical lookbacks, the IULs typically are safe to project anywhere from like a 6.5 to like a 7.9%, depending on how much they're taking out, getting in their bonds, and how large the caps they're buying. Because you can buy 0 to 10% or you can buy 0 to 12%. And depending on the cap, depends on what you should expect as your average moving forward. But the trick is that the average that you receive in this 0 to 12% destroys the 5% that it costs you. And so basically the way that it works right now is if I got $9,500 in my bond and in 1 year it's getting 5% ROI, guess what? I get all $10,000 back at the end of the year. So if my $500 loses everything, my $9,500 still grew back to $10,000, so I lost nothing. So this is why an IUL salesman can promise people that they can change their whole retirement plan and act, sound, and speak like a financial advisor, but know nothing about anything. This is why, because it's considered risk-free, okay? But even as my brother starts to introduce the risk, even as they, like, none of them verified the math, none of them understand how it works, none of them are trying to perfect the product, yet they're all acting like it's the same thing and it's risk-free. But let me show you why it's not risk-free. And why is MPI risky? And how risky is it going to be? It depends on what Curtis pushes you into. It depends on what you want. But like, it gets pretty risky. Let me give you an example. If I got $10,000, let's say I didn't want to put 95% in the bond, because basically every time you take a loan out of your policy, you can put the money back in. And what it does is it adds to less actual cash value, which is the bond money, and the loan amount. They take 5% out of your bond value to go buy options on the loan amount. So what does that mean? Let's just say I have $8,000 of cash value, and let's say I put $2,000 into. So what you got to understand is, in order for this to be true, okay. So in order for this to be true, I have $10,000 of cash value, $8,000 went to bond, and $2,000 went to options. I would know, in order for $2,000 to go to options, it'd be this divided by 0.05, I think. And basically it would say my account balance is going to be, I think, no, so this is my loan balance. This is my cash. And so basically what my brother's plan is to get you to keep putting money in, borrow the money, put it back into the cash system until your loan balance is at $40,000, your cash balance is at $10,000, so you have a actual a net cash balance of $50,000. And basically when you do this, they're going to go to your loan amount first. They're going to times that by the 5% that it costs to buy the S&P options, where they buy at the money and they sell at 12% out of the money. And what's going to happen is that's $2,000. So that 5%, it costs $2,000. So they take that from your cash value, they go buy that $2,000 option, and they put the $8,000 into your bond. Well, if $8,000 goes into my bond and I get 5% roughly, I get $8,400. If the S&P did 0 or 5% or less, I lose all $2,000, and now I've gone from $10,000 to $8,400. But let's say that it went to 12% instead. Instead of going to 0, let's say that the S&P did 12%. Now I got the $8,400, and now my $2,000 has grown into, so it's basically my $40,000 loan balance is what they're buying on, and that's what's getting the 12%. So I got 4,800. So now my new account balance at the end of the year is 13,200 instead of 10,000 or instead of 8,400. So this is the MPI plan, and basically what you're suggesting is if it hits 12% 5 years in a row, you'll make 30% on your money 5 years in a row if you get to this much leverage. But if it goes up 30%, you're still going to get 30%, but you stop making profits at 12%. But if it goes down 0% or less, like some people break even because they're just buying stock and holding, like over here, well, you would still lose money. You'd get the bond money of the 8,400, but you'd still lose the 2,000. So there is risk in this. If it does 7%, if it does 5% every single year for the next 10 years, MPI is the worst plan out there. If it does really high, really low, really high, really low, MPI is probably one of the best plans out there. Assuming that you were looking for annual interest instead of daily or monthly or weekly interest, like I like. And so that is MPI. That is understanding MPI. And really the last part is to understand how to make this better. And the way that you make this better is you make this a variable universal life insurance. And then that way you can choose how much you want to invest into the S&P program, the option program, the same that you would the IUL, but you don't got to buy more life insurance. Because what he doesn't tell you is every time that you want to take out a loan and he does tell you this actually. Every time you want to take out a loan, he takes your money and he puts it back in your policy, but he increased your life insurance so that your policy could accept a higher MEC. so that you can invest more money into it every single year. And so that's where you're taking this loan and now putting that money in. You're still putting in what you said you were going to put in, but every time you take out loans and you put in more money to try to create this spread between your cash and your loan so that you're getting more money on the S&P returns. But guess what? When you turn this into a variable universal life insurance, you can go tomorrow and for $100,000 life insurance, I can have a $10,000 mech and I can let my client choose a 50-50 leverage, a 60-40 leverage, a 70, whatever they like. Year after year, they can update it and change it. Once you do that, and once you create a retirement plan of what it looks like to actually retire in a strategy like this, you make SunCor Financial, Mutual of Omaha, and Brokers Alliance, the three stooges, look like fucking fools. That is why you should consider getting out of life insurance, people. I don't know who Jack Bogle is, but there's definitely no chance he got anything on me. Absolutely zero chance he got anything on me. All right, people, I think that's enough to kind of let the air settle now. I think I've gone through all the big picture phases of the life insurance. Man, if you guys don't think I know what I'm talking about yet, you aren't listening. I freaking know what I'm talking about. Oh, man.